The story begins with a boy waking up in a strange room he has never seen before. As his vision clears, he notices a beautiful woman leaning over him. At first, he assumes she must be his mother, but something feels off. His real mother should be much older than this. When he looks at his hands, the truth hits him hard. They are tiny. He's not just young, he's a baby. As if that shock isn't enough, a status screen suddenly appears in front of him. His level has dropped back to 1, all his stats are terrible, and he doesn't even have a name anymore. So yes, he has officially been reincarnated, and the tutorial did not explain anything. Soon after, a tall man wearing armor enters the room. The woman immediately bows and addresses him as Your Majesty. Watching this, the boy realizes he's not in a normal household. This man is clearly the ruler of this land, possibly even an emperor. Not long later, the baby is taken to a priest for a naming ceremony. During the ritual, he is given the name Noah Ararat and officially declared the 13th imperial prince. When Noah checks his status again, the title confirms it. He is the direct son of the emperor himself. From nameless baby to royal prince in one ceremony. That's one way to speedrun life. Afterward, the emperor asks Noah's magic affinity. The priest answers that it is water, and Noah is assigned the fief of Almeria, a land where many water clan people live. Everything seems normal, until the priest checks Noah's full stats. At that moment, the entire room freezes. Every single stat is absurdly high, and his water affinity has already reached SS rank, despite being only hours old. That means Noah has already awakened, something that should be impossible at his age. The people present realize they are witnessing the birth of a once-in-a-generation genius. That's when Noah fully understands his situation. He has been reincarnated into a powerful empire as a noble. The story then explains the setting. The empire is a mighty warrior nation surrounded by rugged mountains, currently enjoying a golden age of wealth and prosperity. The emperor has more than 10 sons, known as the imperial princes, all adored by the people as the highest nobles in the land. 6 years pass, and Noah grows into a calm, composed young prince. During this time, he discovers the true nature of his power. To others, his stats appear insanely high, but in reality, those stats are boosted by his subordinates. His S-rank water ability comes from Almeria itself, and many of his other bonuses come from the maids serving him. In short, the more people loyal to him, the stronger he becomes. On top of that, Noah suspects his level has no upper limit. It might be infinite. Basically, this system rewards him for building a following, like an RPG where charisma is broken. After getting dressed, Noah goes downstairs and the maids quietly admire how different he is. Unlike other boys his age, he's calm, polite, and far too mature. Evelyn, a maid specializing in hospitality, informs Noah that the crown prince and the fourth prince have come to visit. She even says they told him to take his time eating. But Noah knows better. Keeping the crown prince waiting is a great way to die early, so he immediately goes to greet them. He meets his older brothers, Albert, the crown prince, and Henry, the fourth prince. After some polite exchanges, Albert reveals they brought Noah a gift. A terrified servant enters carrying a sword case, and the moment it's opened, a dark aura fills the room. Noah hears the desperate screams of soldiers begging for their lives. This sword is clearly bad news. Albert tells Noah to pick it up. Refusing isn't an option, so Noah carefully lifts the blade. Though heavy at first, he manages to hold it without collapsing. Albert then explains the sword's identity. It is Leviathan, the strongest water magic sword in the Empire. Around 120 people have died trying to wield it. Henry calmly explains that anyone unworthy dies the moment they touch it. Since Noah survived, that alone proves his compatibility. Albert calls this a valuable demonstration and leaves, casually using a cursed weapon as a test. Noah, internally, is furious, but wisely keeps his mouth shut. Saying the wrong thing here would get him executed faster than the sword could manage. Later, Henry questions Albert's decision to leave such a dangerous weapon with Noah. Albert simply replies that because Noah is so talented, he needs to learn what it feels like to be bitten by his own pet. Clearly, the imperial family has trust issues. That night, Noah notices his personal maid Zoe acting uneasy. After some insistence, she reveals that her hometown was destroyed by flooding, her mother lost everything, and relatives suggested Zoe sell herself in the red light district using her connection to the prince. Noah shuts that idea down instantly. Instead, he offers Zoe's mother a job at the mansion, a generous salary, and even a house to live in. Zoe breaks down in tears, overwhelmed by his kindness. Of course, Noah also understands the reality. Allowing a former servant to fall that far would stain his reputation. Loyalty and image both matter. And after this, Zoe's loyalty is absolute. Next, Noah orders his butler Dylan to buy as much land as possible in Zoe's flooded hometown, Dasso. He predicts criminals will soon exploit the chaos. Dylan is shocked by Noah's foresight, unaware that Noah has already lived through similar disasters in his previous life. The problem is funding. The land will cost hundreds of thousands of rein. After thinking it through, Noah decides to sell land gifted to him by the emperor himself. Though risky, he accepts full responsibility, stating that nobles must sometimes sacrifice themselves for the people. Dylan, who also comes from that region, is deeply moved. Soon after, Noah travels to Dasso to inspect the area. The destruction is severe. While surveying, he notices food distribution happening, but the food is barely edible. The local official, Lord Geralt, arrives and openly ignores the suffering, clearly pocketing the funds. Noah confronts him directly. Geralt mocks him and draws his sword. At that moment, Leviathan moves on its own and tests Noah, flooding him with power. Noah barely endures it, but through sheer will he earns the sword's recognition. Geralt attacks, and Noah strikes first, killing him instantly. When the lackeys threaten retaliation, Noah slams Leviathan into the ground, creating a massive crater. Message received. The night captain, Rowan, arrives, recognizes Noah, and kneels. Noah orders the corrupt officials punished and food distribution fixed properly. The villagers celebrate him as their savior. Later, the emperor summons Noah. Instead of punishment, he praises him for preventing further disaster. Noah's stats are checked once more, and his water affinity has risen to SSS rank. Impressed, the emperor asks Noah to continue serving the empire. Noah accepts.
The next day, Noah visits Rady Street, the most lively part of the capital. This place is famous for food, crowds, and street performers, and Noah is here for one reason: a popular singer everyone keeps talking about. He quietly enters a small diner, finds an empty seat, and observes the atmosphere like a tiny emperor doing a secret inspection. Soon, a pink-haired girl steps forward and begins to sing. Noah immediately recognizes her as Alici. Her voice isn't bad at all, but her technique still needs work. Even so, Noah can tell she's not singing for fun or fame. She's singing to survive, putting her heart into every note. Just when the mood settles, three rough-looking men burst into the diner and ruin everything. They start yelling at Alici, demanding she pay off her parents' debt. When she says she doesn't have the money, they begin suggesting other ways for her to repay it. The whole diner freezes, and no one dares to interfere. That's when Noah calmly stands up. In a quiet but firm voice, he reminds them that imperial law forbids forcing children to inherit their parents' debts. The men laughed, thinking he's just a clueless rich kid. Big mistake. One of them grabs Noah, and in the next moment, Noah releases the pressure of the Leviathan sword. The air itself feels heavy. The ends instantly panic, realizing they just picked a fight with something far beyond them. They run away like their lives depend on it, because they do. Once things calm down, Noah gently talks to Alici and asks about her monthly expenses. She explains that most of her money goes toward her mother's medical treatment. Without hesitation, Noah tells her he'll pay her 25 rein every month so she can focus on singing. And if she improves, her pay will increase too. Alici is overwhelmed and promises she'll never waste this chance. Later that evening, Noah returns home and finds the same three men kneeling outside the palace gate, begging for forgiveness. Clearly, they've finally realized who he is. Noah doesn't even bother meeting them and orders the maids to send them away. Royalty is not customer service. His brother Henry later agreed with that decision and praised his judgment. Noah explains that as long as those men remain scared of him, Alici will never be in danger. Henry is genuinely impressed. For someone so young, Noah thinks several steps ahead. Their conversation shifts to the Leviathan sword. Noah proves he has mastered it by making it appear from his sleeve, shocking Henry completely. The sword has a will of its own, and it taught Noah how to control it. At this point, Henry is probably wondering if Noah is even human. That night, Noah attends a royal gathering. When the nobles notice Leviathan at his waist, the entire hall buzzes with shock. Some even think it's fake, until Noah releases a fraction of its power. 1 second later, everyone feels like they almost died. Message received. During the event, Noah meets Byron Allen and his daughter Cindy. With just a glance, Noah deduces that Cindy is adopted and was once a slave. Byron is stunned, but admits it's true. Noah smiles, genuinely happy to hear a story where someone's life changed for the better, and invites them to visit his mansion someday. The next day, Noah runs into his brother Oscar, the 8th prince. Oscar invites him on a casual treasure hunt at Cobalt Street, a place famous for antiques and even more famous for fakes. After finding nothing all day, Noah randomly buys a cheap book. Turns out, it's the legendary Grimoire of Andrea. The only reason Noah bought it was because it boosted his wind stat when he touched it. When the sealed soul inside the book awakens, Oscar panics, but Noah doesn't run. He swings Leviathan once and erases the threat completely. As a result, his wind skill jumps to SS rank like it's no big deal. Soon after, a merchant named Allen shows Noah a strange ring that never reacts to anyone. The moment Noah wears it, the ring recognizes him as owner and transforms into powerful armor. Immediately, Oscar buys it for Noah as a gift, because at this point, why not? Later, one of the thugs from earlier attacks Noah again, but the armor automatically activates and blocks the strike. Oscar realizes Noah is already mastering the armor too. This kid collects legendary items like snacks. That night, Noah returns to the diner to hear Alici sing. 2 drunk men start harassing her, and Noah instantly sends them flying out, literally, using Leviathan. Then he buys the entire diner for 1,000 rein so Alici can sing safely. When Alici asks how she can repay him, Noah simply tells her to keep singing. That's all he wants. And as her voice fills the diner once more, Noah knows he made the right choice.
As time passes, and one day, Noah receives a visit from Dead Marley, the general governor of Holejoy, which is one of Noah's fiefs. In the Empire, princes are given fiefs so they can learn how to rule, and being called a lord makes the local people see them as true masters. Dead Marley explains that Holejoy is a fertile land located along a large river. While this brings good harvests, it also causes frequent flooding. He was ordered by the Empire to control these floods, but the project has failed because the necessary funds were never delivered. Even though it was an imperial order, the Ministry of Finance kept making excuses instead of sending the money. Realizing what is really going on, Noah immediately heads to the mansion of the finance commissioner, Maverick, who is calmly enjoying a steak while meeting an imperial prince. Noah cuts straight to the point and warns Maverick not to dismiss him just because he is a child. This instantly puts pressure on the commissioner. Maverick claims that Emperor Ararat exempted Holejoy from taxes due to the flooding, which supposedly caused a lack of funds. Noah quickly points out that tax exemption is an act of kindness, not a reason to abandon a suffering fief. Cornered, Maverick changes his excuse again and says the treasury is busy funding a summer resort for the emperor. Hearing this, Noah loses his patience and accuses Maverick of disrespecting Holejoy by prioritizing vacations over people's lives. When Noah threatens to report everything directly to the emperor, Maverick panics, kneels, and begs for forgiveness. Noah agrees to let it go on one condition: the budget must be sent immediately. As Maverick rushes to comply, Dead Marley leaves deeply impressed by how a 6-year-old prince forced a high-ranking official to his knees. Soon after, Noah is summoned by Emperor Ararat, who praises him for resolving the Holejoy crisis. Noah is surprised that his father already knows everything, and the emperor explains that information itself is a weapon. He tells Noah that doing what is natural is actually very difficult and expresses pride in his son.
At that moment, the Emperor notices that the sword Leviathan has adjusted its size to fit Noah's height. Impressed by Noah's control over such a dangerous weapon, the Emperor decides it is time to assign him a proper instructor. He summons Damian Noble, the greatest swordsman in the Empire. Damian asks to test Noah in a duel to measure his talent. Once allowed, Noah charges forward, feeling Leviathan's memories of its former masters. After a brief exchange, Noah shocks everyone by disarming Damian. Acknowledging the boy's mastery, Damian kneels and declares that he has nothing left to teach him. Laughing, the Emperor appoints Noah as the chief examiner for this year's knight selection. This major event gathers warriors from across the empire, and the winners earn noble status. Noah announces a major change. He eliminates regional qualifiers and orders all candidates to fight directly in the capital so no talent is overlooked. Back at his mansion, Noah speaks with Zoe and learns that villagers often struggle to send representatives due to travel and lodging costs. Wanting to remove this obstacle, Noah decides to cover all expenses himself. He orders Dylan to buy vacant houses, build dormitories if needed, and arrange food supplies through merchants. While negotiating with merchant Byron Allen, Noah quickly sees through a fake discount and asserts his authority. He allows Byron to place Noah's crest on his shop, warning him that betrayal will never be forgiven. Noah reflects that gaining loyal subordinates is another step toward becoming stronger. Suddenly, Noah notices his water rank has dropped, meaning something is wrong in Almeria. He rushes to meet the Emperor, who reveals that a rebellion involving about 5,000 people has broken out. Noah analyzes the situation and recommends that his brother Henry handle the suppression, believing it requires an experienced commander. While traveling together, Noah senses danger and orders the carriage to stop. Rebel soldiers surround him, but Noah calmly defeats them using Leviathan, leaving them unconscious. He later explains that killing them would be pointless, as they would rather die than talk. Realizing the rebels heavily rely on cavalry despite Almeria's weak horse production, Noah summons Byron Allen once more. He gives him money and orders him to buy all horse feed in the region, intentionally cutting the rebels' supply line. Understanding the strategy, Byron immediately sets the plan in motion. And that's how Episode 3 comes to an end. Subscribe to Recap Sama for more anime recaps like this one.